the trust has been uh, shattered, right? It hasn't been fractured; it's been shattered. And when trust has been shattered, you can't try to repair it, right? If you broke a vase in three places, you could probably crazy glue it back together. If the vase shatters, you're not going to get a vase back, but you could get something else back, right? You could take those pieces and make something else with it. And so, in the same way, that trust being broken, you have to take those pieces and make something else with it. I hopefully your husband's aware of this, but he's lost the benefit of doubt forever. Like, he doesn't get that back, and hopefully he understands that, and he doesn't make you enforce that. Hopefully he enforces that on himself. With that said, I would also encourage you to do your own work of healing outside of your husband, because there was something that was broken in you. It was based on his actions, but his actions is not responsible for your complete healing, right? His actions play a part in your healing, but you have to go do that deep work yourself. And it's going to be work. But if you're committed to that work, I can't tell you how many couples I have seen bounce back from infidelity. I've seen multiple couples, not multiple, dozens of them be able to do that. I've known people who have cheated on each other, got divorced, and then remarried the person that they cheated on, and they've lived happily ever after, and God's done some healing. So it is work, but if you're committed to the work, then I'm telling you that you can have a relationship that is stronger than the one you previous had. But you have to commit to doing that work. So I hope I answered that question. Yeah. And look, listen, infidelity is the result of a lot of stuff. But if I were to just kind of boil it down, it's somebody believed a lie. That's where it starts. You start believing a lie about your spouse and yourself. That puts you in that position. The subcategories are endless, right? But at the epicenter, in my findings, all the people I've counseled, infidelity always starts with a lie that you believe and a lie that you have about your spouse. And if you can get to the root of those lies and replace it with the truth, all of that behavior goes away. Yeah.
I know, personal story, maybe 2 months ago, I had to talk to my wife about the struggles I had been having.
Yep.
And it hurts and it was really scary. But the worst thing that I did in that season is I would go cold turkey from porn addiction or any sort of sexual addiction.
Mm-hmm.
And it'd be great, but I would keep my cold turkey time to myself and I wouldn't celebrate with my wife. So since I had been deceptive, and even though I celebrated alone, I still had narrative in my head. And I guess I can, if I mess up, I'll just keep it to myself and I'm gonna go cold turkey again. Endless cycle.
Yeah,
Eventually I'm like, dude, I have to tell my wife.
for sure.
I will physically cheat on her if I don't get rid of this now.
Yeah.
And it was a horribly painful conversation. She's so forgiving, represents Jesus so well.
Yep.
A lot of women do.
Yeah.
And they can take the higher road in that scenario. And I was crying like a baby on one of the trails that we walk every day with our dog. But it took that time, and now it's been a healing process together.
Yes.
So I just wanted to ask, like, with you and your wife, when you've had to be honest, do you have any stories where you've had to really build up courage, or have you always been naturally honest?
I was lying. I started lying when I was 8 years old. I became a professional liar at 8 years old, so I could hide what was traumatic for me so that it wouldn't hurt other people. Or I brought that into my marriage as well. I brought, my wife married my representative, and so I brought lies into the marriage about porn addiction and how I was feeling about myself, my low self-esteem, my low self-worth, all that kind of stuff. And I had when I gave my life to Jesus and got filled with the Holy Spirit, I love Jesus. And the conviction of the Holy Spirit is real for me. I cannot keep a secret. It will eat me up. And even when it was the most painful for me to have to share, and I knew it was going to be shameful for me and upset Juliet, and there was no way I could not say it because I wanted to be free. And when you've been hiding under 15 blankets, taking those off is going to be work. And sometimes, you know, if you're under 15 blankets and your spouse comes and reaches for the first one, she uncovered something, but now there's 14 blankets to go. Right? And so there's layers to this. And you have to, either they're going to pull back all these layers and get to the bottom of it, or you're just going to have to push from the bottom and get that stuff off of you. And for me, I just wanted that stuff off of me. I didn't want no secrets from my wife. And that meant I was going to have to share some stuff with her that I basically wanted to take to my grave. Or I wanted to tell my accountability circle, or I only wanted to tell my therapist, but I was never going to tell her. But then I'm like, if I hide it from her, I'm hiding it from me. Because my wife is me outside of me, looking back at me, talking to me about me. We are one flesh. So if I lie to her, I'm actually lying to myself. And I got tired of lying to me about what I can handle. I got tired of lying about me, about I'm strong enough. I know I just did it this time, but I won't do it again. How many times have you said that with your addict self? Tim, how do you trust yourself after you don't have no empirical data? You cannot be free with the lights off. You can only be free with the lights on. And so everything about my life, my phone, my wife is not no jealous micromanager of a wife. That's not who she is. And so for me, like, this is all about my phone is an open. She can get in there and do whatever she wants to, but I don't got nothing to hide. Our hardest parts, the hardest parts of our marriage was basically when I wouldn't be truthful. Those are the hardest parts of my marriage. And that was all pride and shame to try to cover something that I knew I could never get victory over alone. And when I stopped trying to get victory alone and I actually partnered with Juliet and stopped trying to fight against her, and the enemy lying to me, trying to make me think that she's better than you. She got saved when she was 9 and you got saved when you were 20 and she can't relate because she haven't been through nothing. Lies.
Did Juliet know about your sexual abuse before you were married?
Yes. Yeah. Like, I've always, I didn't have a problem telling her about what was. I had a problem telling her what is. You know what I mean? And so this is a caution to people. You don't want to be talking about a present masquerading as a past. If you have something presently going on, don't try to make it sound like it's a past thing going on. Just tell the truth and be like, you know what? This is a present struggle for me. And I need lots of space and lots of grace, and it's not all in you. This is not my trauma and my addictive behavior. That came way before Juliet did. So it would be a lie to try to say that it's because of her or that she has actually anything to do with her. It affects her, but it wasn't caused by her. So I had to go address my pain I had to go do some soul care and some work to get free in some areas. Marriage counseling wasn't going to help me with my addiction. I had to go do some counseling to help with my addiction. And then that subsequently helped us in our marriage. So you got to be committed to doing that work.